All right, let's see chat. Let us see chat. Is this better? Giants already saying 8. Coming in with the memery already. This is exponentially better than when I tried doing it before. For those of you who came when I started this earlier today, boy howdy, was that awful. So thank you for coming back. So on my end, it looks pretty good. Giant, if you wanna be the homie and tell me how the stream's looking on your end, because it was like I counted when I started today, and I'm not kidding you. It was, I think, a 2-minute delay. It was abysmal, like actually abysmal. Welcome in, guys. Looking good now. Awesome. Well, we're gonna try this again, chat. So this is grade review. So welcome in. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Galaxia Gaming, and today we are going to be trying our best to do grade review episode 31 again, because the first time I tried doing this, it was way too laggy and way too bad. So what I am showing on today's stream is we're going to be going over what you guys have submitted to me in our Discord for a free grade review. So what does that mean, you ask? Well, all we're going to be doing is I have a few tools at my disposal. I have a little magnifying tool to look at some imperfections or look at corners or look at the surface of the card, as well as I have a pen tool so I can mark cards. I can kind of show where I see issues or anything like that. Just makes it a little bit easier for you guys to kind of see what I'm doing. So without further ado, Nolan, thank you for liking the live. For those of you who are here, if you guys don't mind liking or sharing the live, I really appreciate it. Definitely is nice to kind of get this out there. This is a completely free service, by the way. You don't have to pay for it. So that's why it's something I like to offer to the community. So without further ado, we're just going to get right into it. So first up is the Shining Charizard. So the first thing I like to look for is the centering, and the centering does look pretty good on this Zard. So far, so good. So the first thing that I see, and first I'll use the magnifier tool so you guys can see what I'm about to talk about. So I see 2 little black dots. So these, to me, highlight that they're dirt particles or dirt specks specifically. So in most cases, we can probably get these removed with like a microfiber cloth or a Q-tip and some distilled water, something like that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just mark these with a little green dot just to kind of help signify that those are issues. Barnacles on the starboard side, Captain. The Zard has the scurvy. So we're going to keep on keeping on. Hopefully give this Zard some limes. So what I'm now highlighting is I do see some scratches on the tail there where I kind of highlighted in that section. So far we have, and additionally, we have some issues here on the top, but not too bad. Thanks for getting the stream work. I know, Produce. Thank you for being so patient. So we have this angle as well. And on this angle, there's really not much that we can see. So I'm going to close that one out. But this one definitely does. So we can kind of see that the front angle of this card, we're able to see some scratches, but not all of them. But as we kind of go over on this side, we have one right there, one right there. We have some scuffs kind of on the back. Have one there by the foot. So a few scratches there. But aside from that, I'm not seeing anything else. So go over. So on the other side, we kind of see those dots coming back in here, and I'm actually going to circle them here. It's a little hard to actually see what I'm talking about. But when we look at the scratches on the Zard, we have one across the face. We have two across the face, one on the wing. So you just kind of see all these little scratches kind of coming across the card that, again, ultimately is going to impact the overall surface grade, which is going to result in, you know, a lower grade, but we're going to keep on keeping on. Discord, thanks so much for communicating. Oh yeah, of course, Produce. I know, I definitely appreciate your patience. The love got 1K like. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And Mala, thanks so much for sharing the live. I appreciate you both. Thank you so much. And again, if anyone has any questions about what I'm doing, please feel free to let me know, whether you're on YouTube or on TikTok. So here, I'm gonna just kind of highlight what I see first, and then I'll kind of go over exactly what I'm highlighting. So we have some whitening here on that top left corner. We have some scratching here, some whitening. I'm kind of going counterclockwise. Why I go counterclockwise, I have no idea. I just do. Have some whitening there on the bottom. This right corner is actually pretty good shape, so I'm not going to focus too much on that. We have some there, and then kind of all up here, there is some whitening as well. So let's see. So yeah, it's really just kind of all around the outside of this card has some issues going on with it for sure. But then as we look at the final picture, and again, that's why it's kind of nice to have these multiple pictures, is that we do have, hopefully you guys can see this on stream. I'm going to highlight it the best I can, but this looks almost like a crease to me. So I'm going to crease, do a little frowny face, crease. So normally when that happens, it is not good, especially from a grading perspective. Fading in top. Yeah, that's what I was kind of looking at too, Dark. But yeah, when you see a crease, that is pretty much the PSA grading equivalent of you know, it's pretty much a death sentence, in my opinion. Victor, thanks so much for liking the live. I appreciate that. So yeah, so now that you guys have had a chance to see some of the markings I've been able to do on this Shining Charizard. So here are some more, just as a quick recap. Anything that you see in green is either me highlighting that there's an issue on the surface or a scratch or something like that. So we have some there. Those are some of the scratches I was able to identify on this angle. There's some scratches on that one, including some dirt marks that we've circled, and a lot of just random whitening and issues on the back. And most importantly, we got a little crease here on that backside. So now we're at the part of the stream where you as chat can weigh in on what you think this card would see. So you can kind of see on the bottom of the, if you guys are on TikTok, you can kind of see how you can vote, but I'll just articulate it because it's for both YouTube and on TikTok. So if you want to weigh in on what you think this card would get as a PSA grade, just type in !vote followed by the number, and it will add all of those up together from both YouTube and TikTok, and it will give me an average on what the chat thinks this card would get as a PSA grade. So once the poll is done, those averages will be calculated, and then that's what I'll have as the chat grade. So again, if you guys want to vote on what you think this Shining Charizard would get as a PSA grade, just type in !vote followed by the number you think it would get, and then that's how it's tallied up. So while you guys are doing that, I'm going to catch up with chat and just kind of double check, because again, if you guys were here before, stream was not good. So again, if you guys want me to kind of flip through some other pictures, so this was the front of the Zard, and really most of the issues that I can kind of tell were more on the back, because everything on the Zard were more scratches on the hollow foil specifically. And then there's some issues on the back as well. So yeah, hopefully you guys are having a good night. Definitely, normally I do these at 8 o'clock, but the first one was not too good. So I appreciate you guys sticking with me so late. But we're in it. We got the We got dinner out of the way. We're hydrating with some LaCroix. If you guys are up on YouTube, the LaCroix Raz Cranberry. Not sponsored. So we got some 8s, we got some 7s. Let's see. So very interesting, chat. Very interesting. So you guys are kind of hovering. I'm just waiting for it to kind of tally up, but it's kind of like pretty much between 7 and 8 for the most part from what you guys are voting on. So I'll give it a few more seconds here, probably about 30 seconds or so. Again, if you guys want to vote on what you think this Shining Charizard would get as a PSA grade, type in !vote followed by the number you think it would be. And that's how you will have your vote added to the average. Victor, thanks so much for following. I appreciate that very much. Patty, things are so much better now. I tried streaming earlier today and it was not good at all, but I think I figured it out. So far, fingers crossed, we're good. We're chilling. Hopefully you're doing well as well, Patty. It was just super bad. It was just super laggy. I had like, at one point I counted, I think I had a 2-minute delay. Falling, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate that. All right, so we are going to wrap it up there. So let's see. I'm gonna change it up a little bit. Let's see if we have a different color. Nice. Okay. So chat, you guys are thinking, drum roll please. So chat. So the chat grade is a 7. So you guys are thinking near mint on essentially the Shining Charizard. So let's take a look. Alex, thanks so much for following, and Falling Turd 117. Thank you so much for following. I appreciate that very much. Okay, so now we're at the part where you guys have finished your voting, so now I get to vote. So what do I think this Shining Charizard would get? So the first thing I notice on the front is we have these 2 dots that can probably be cleaned with some distilled water and a Q-tip. And then the scratches on the Charizard itself, kind of all over the place. We have some there, we have some here, kind of scattered all across the Zard. Those are at least the main ones that I was able to see with the scans. And on the back, everything that you see again in green is whitening, or anything off the edge is more of like just gentle surface abrasion. I'll kind of add this here. That also looks like surface abrasion, but the biggest one that I really have to emphasize is this crease. So again, for grading specifically, creases are notorious for drastically reducing the overall grade. I have had cards that look immaculate, but just because it has one crease, it instantly brings it down to a 5. So in my opinion, with the crease plus the amount of whitening on the back and the amount of scratches on the Charizard itself, with addition to some of these dirt marks that could probably be clean, but again, we have to kind of factor that in as we do these reviews. I would probably say conservatively with the crease, bringing it down to a, at least a 5, and then the initial damage on the back kind of adding on to it. I personally think it would probably get a 4 in my opinion, because again, I just from purely experience with those creases, like those are like a death sentence. But what do you use to scan? So Bruce, so these actually aren't my cards. So these are actually the community members' cards. So what ends up happening is you guys, so I can actually show it. So I was able to kind of polish up and make it a little bit easier for you guys based off of some feedback on if you guys want to have your card submitted for a future grade review, which again is completely free. There is a link in the bio that links to my link tree. And so what you're seeing on screen now is the link tree. So all you have to do is just simply tap on the Discord icon or click the Discord icon, and it'll send you directly to the server in which all these grades are being pulled from. And all you have to do is just go into the grade review channel, look at the rules that are in the pinned messages, and you just send me the pictures, both the front and the back, outside of a sleeve, and I review them for free every Wednesday. So this is episode 31, so we've been doing this for 31 weeks straight, essentially once a week. So that's how you do it. So again, the link is in the bio if you want to be able to submit your cards for free for future grade review. And you just go into the grade review channel and you're pretty much good to go. But I can't emphasize it enough. It is completely free. Unless you subscribe, then you get priority, but so far you should be good. So now that we've done that one, thank you, Braz, for that. So next up, we're actually going to be looking at some modern cards. And modern kind of goes through a little bit of a different process. And I'll explain why here in a second. So traditionally, the reason why I tend to go a little bit faster for modern, of course, Bruce, anytime. If you guys have any other questions, please feel free to let me know. I'd be more than happy to answer them the best that I can. And thank you so much, guys, for, looks like we're almost at 2.6K likes. I really appreciate that. So, and anyone that's followed that I've missed as well, I definitely appreciate the love. So for modern specifically, we're really looking for two main things, right? So the big two that we're looking for is centering and corner issues. So why do I say that? So the reason why I say that is for modern, it's basically 10 or bust. Meaning that if it doesn't get a PSA 10, if it gets even a PSA 9, those even tend to sell at near mint prices anyway. So that's why I kind of emphasize if it's either a 10 or it's not worth grading. So that's kind of why you'll see me kind of go fast with these. We have 3 Umbreons from Fury that we're going to look at right now. All right, now that I'm hydrated, I can stop yapping. We're going to look at this Umbreon. So the first thing we're going to look at is the centering. So we look at the silver edges, just in case I don't want to make any assumptions. So if you guys have never looked at centering before, it's just basically the silver border that surrounds the entire card. So we want to have the left side be essentially 50-50 ratio. So, you know, if it's like a 1/4 inch on the left, it should be a 1/4 inch on the right. And so that's really what we're kind of looking for, is we want all 4 of these to be within, and I'm actually going to zoom out just a little bit. There we go. Because we really want these to be 50-50 on the bottom and the top, and the left and the right, which I think, based off of what this Umbreon looks like, I think we have that there. So so far so good on this Umbreon. So when we flip it over, when I mean look at the edges, hey Captain, how's it going? Welcome in. Star 420, thanks so much for liking the live. I appreciate you very much. Oh, we just surpassed 3K. Thank you so much, guys. 3K likes. Let's go. So normally what I like to look for on the back specifically is any whitening. Star 420, thanks so much for the follow. Thank you so much. And based off of what I see, and I can kind of take my little magnifier tool here, it's really obvious to me whether or not a card does have whitening, because you'll see it right at the corners. And judging by all 4 corners, it doesn't look like this is the case. Polly, thanks so much for following. Appreciate that. So I think, based off what I'm seeing, and the centering actually looks really good too, I'm thinking that this Umbreon V probably has a pretty good chance of getting a 10. So if this were my Umbreon V, I would definitely try to submit that. So next up, we have not 1, but 2 different Umbreon V Maxes, which is crazy. I would say both the front and the back is really important, Kevin. Carter, thanks so much for following. And I would say too, like, on paper, and what I mean by on paper, meaning what PSA says, the front should be at least 60-40, but for Pokemon specifically, I tend not to agree with that. I think it's more 55-45 in terms of ratio. So that's kind of where I've been starting to kind of slowly gear myself towards. And I know for the back, based off of what PSA says, it's supposed to be 70-30, which is crazy to me. And so I kind of tend, as a good rule of thumb, I try to kind of do like 55-45 to 60-40 on the back, and 50-50 to 55-45 on the front. That's just based off of submissions I've made that I've kind of made similar calls and have kind of reflected those grades as well. So that's kind of just what I like to tend to stick with. So hopefully that answered your question. Okay, so for full arts like this, so if you guys have never measured centering on a full art like this, I tend to strictly look at this, like this, the part that it has the most white, which is kind of in this section and this section, is really where I'm kind of looking at in regards to centering for these full art cards. Because obviously, like, you can't see centering over here, you can't see centering over here. So really the only part that actually has a border is this bottom on these two sides. So with that, this card looks pretty well centered for me. Carter, thanks so much for following. I appreciate that very much. Anytime, Kevin. If you have any other questions, or if anyone else does, please feel free to let me know. So the VMAX on this looks pretty good on the front. So let's take a flip on the back. So now this is where it kind of gets tricky. So this is where I was talking about, where I kind of look at the corners to see if there's any white specks or white dots anywhere. You can see here, and what's kind of nice about this magnifying tool is that you can see a little white dot on the back of that card. Now this tells me this could either be one or two things. So the first option would be that it's just a piece of fuzz, or a piece of like the inner card stock, like if it's in a pack and like kind of the loose little cardboard particles kind of float around in the pack and just get stuck to the card. I've definitely have seen that happen before, and it can just be simply wiped away and it won't impact the surface grade at all. And for those of you who are wondering, all I would use is just like a microfiber cloth and just kind of gently wipe it away. However, if there is actual ink, meaning if there's actual blue that's removed from the back of that card, unfortunately that would result in this card not getting the 10. So in my opinion, if that can be removed, this has a good shot at a 10. If it cannot be removed, then it does not have a good shot at a 10. Benji, thanks so much for liking the live. Peak, if you're kidding, then that would be the correct choice. If you're not kidding, then you can't do that because it'd be considered alteration. I would imagine you're kidding. I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt. But boy howdy, I've definitely been tempted, for sure. Something like that, just put a little bit of a blue Sharpie dot on there. Boy, if only we could. If only we could. So yeah. Oh, we just broke 4K likes. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. All right, so the next Umbreon, this man is rolling in Moonbreons. It is crazy. That is probably one of the most wild names, Cheese, I have ever read on this. Thank you for the follow. And Peak, thank you for the follow. So before I go, because I know, or before I go on to this card, I'm going to show you how to join this. It's a completely free service, I need to emphasize. So in my bio, you should see a link tree, and it will redirect you to here. So all you have to do is, you see the 4 icons on the top of your device. All you have to do is just select the one that has Discord. That will send you an invite to the Discord, and inside we'll have a grade review channel after you've authenticated and everything like that. And as long as you follow the pin messages and the rules of the server on how to submit the cards, it will be added to the queue for next week, and I'll just review your cards, very similar to what I'm doing now. Again, it's completely free, and it's just a nice way of kind of getting a second opinion on what your cards might get, because, you know, submitting cards to PSA, Beckett, CGC all cost money, and sometimes you just want a second opinion. That's pretty much it. So yeah, that's how you do it. Jared, thanks so much for the follow. Civic, it is going a lot better. I don't know if you made it to the first attempt at me streaming today at 7, but man, it was absolutely rough. You did if you watched the first stream. It was awful. I think I had a 2-minute delay, and it was like, it looked like you were watching a PowerPoint presentation. But I think I got all the settings correct, and it seems like everything's been going so good. So far so good. So yeah, it was an absolute nightmare, but we're making it. We're coming back. I'm staying past my bedtime. I got a seltzer. I'm already yapping up a storm. Life is good. Of course, Cheese, of course. Yeah, I do grade reviews, I do card cleaning stuff, I do a bunch of stuff for kind of, you know, more like the advanced side of grading. So any questions you have, feel free to look at some past videos. This goes for anyone. Additionally, I'd be more than happy to answer any questions for you. That's literally what I love. I love doing this stuff to help you guys improve on collecting or grading or anything like that. So okay, so centering on this again, this is a different Umbreon. This looks to be 50-50. So again, I'm measuring these two sections of white. So those look to me like those are 50-50, which is good. So the only thing that I see, and I'll kind of highlight over, is this white little speck, kind of what I was talking about, where it's a little bit easier to kind of highlight where that stuff is. And this little bit of whitening, that could either be the background, like all this stuff on the background, just kind of underneath the card, or that is in fact a white speck or white nick on the top left-hand corner. If that is on the card, then it would not get the 10. If it's this background stuff, then it would have a pretty good shot at a 10. So it's funny, both your Umbreons have had that same kind of clause to it. Let's see. Fists, is it worth getting stuff graded? I have a binder from like 10 years ago. Well, first, welcome to the stream. Second, it all depends on a multitude of factors, like what type of cards they are. If you're saying that they're 10 years old, you know, that's like 2014. So you could have some good cards, some good chase cards from back in the day. But it also depends on condition and all different factors. So that's why I personally love having these grade reviews to assist people like yourself or anyone else, to where if you want to submit your cards for a free grade review, at the very least I can do my best to kind of give you an assessment of what I think your cards would get graded. So then that will give you a general idea to say, okay, you know, he thinks that this card would get a PSA 8. So then you can look up that card on eBay and look at prices for PSA 8s and have a general idea on how much the card would be worth if it were to get graded around an 8, right? Like obviously I don't work for PSA, but I do keep track of my accuracy, so to speak. So that's exactly why I offer this service for free for the community, just to kind of give you a little bit of insight. So to answer your question, it might be worth it, just depending on how good the condition are, and older, rarer, minter, better. That's pretty much should be written on the walls of grading. And thank you guys so much for all the follows, by the way. I saw a ton coming in while I was kind of giving my explanation on why I do a grade review. I definitely appreciate it. Andrew, thanks so much for the heart. I appreciate all the love. Man, we're almost at 5K likes. You guys are awesome. This is this stream definitely started on a rough patch, and it is definitely improved. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys being so patient with me, and yeah, just kind of nerding out and looking at some really cool cards, and doing my best to help you guys out in your grading journey. And we just broke 5K. Thank you so much, guys. Yes, exactly, Mills. I just do my best. I've been grading since 2017. And additionally, anytime I would submit a card, I would always try to do my best to kind of think what I think the card would get before I submitted it to PSA. And I basically keep a batting average since then. I've graded around probably over 1,000 cards, been doing that with the same. So I have like a general idea and like a general percentage. Like obviously I'm never going to be at 100, but at the very least I can learn from my mistakes. Or I've actually had some cards that I've even submitted thinking like, oh, like I haven't had enough experience on assessing 4s or assessing 3s. So I would like purposely seek out more damaged cards so I could get better at grading lower grades. So never out cards after grading. Have you had bad grading experiences for large orders of cards? Knock on wood, Star, I have not. Like I haven't had anything like lost in transit or damaged on transit or to and from facilities. Very, very lucky, very, very fortunate. And I've heard multiple people having issues like that, and it is very sad to hear. How do I send your card photos? Yeah, so that'll be the last question before I continue on with this Koro Mew. So if you guys are curious about submitting your cards for grade review, again, which is totally free, I don't charge for this service at all. It's my way of saying thank you to the community. Is if you go into my bio, you should see a link that goes to my link tree. And in here, I have these top 4 socials links. All you have to do is just click the Discord link right here. It'll send you an invite to the Discord, and then inside you'll see a grade review channel, and then you just submit your cards. You just take a picture outside of sleeves or top loaders, stuff like that. So I can see both the front and the back, because I can't assess the card properly if I don't see both sides. And then you just get added to the queue. So I stream every Wednesday. I do grade review every single Wednesday. This is episode 31, so I've been doing it for a very long time, and that's how you do it. Let's see. Float, thanks so much for the follow. All right, I love all the comments, guys. I really do. I love all the support. But I'm gonna just to kind of keep things moving along. I'll catch up with you guys once I'm done with this Koro Mew. I see you. I see your question, Float, and I see your question, Andrew. If you guys don't mind, just give me one second. I'm gonna go over this Koro Mew and I'll get back to you. Okay, so the Koro Mew. Take a quick sip of water. So, first thing I see is that it does look a little off center from this left side. I think this is the first card that I think I see in off center tonight. So it looks to be a little bit thicker on that left side than it is on the right. However, I would imagine that it is so slight that I think we're in that like 55-45 to 50-50 ratio. So we should be good there. The only other thing I see is we have a little bit of a nick here on that bottom left-hand corner. But besides that, from this angle specifically, I do not see anything wrong, especially in like the foil part. From this angle, the foil looks in really good shape. And so what's nice is we also have a different angle here. So if I take the magnifier tool, I'm kind of looking at the hollow just to see if there's anything obvious that sticks out to me. And it doesn't appear so. And as we kind of look at the edge, we also see some mild silvering here, which to me kind of just indicates that there's some edge wear issues. So I'll kind of highlight those real quick as well. And after talking with Game Freak, who is the person that submitted these, not the actual Game Freak who made the game, that originally when I was looking at this, I thought that this was a bend here, like where I'm kind of highlighting in green, but they stated that that is not the case. So that's always nice too. If you guys are going to submit your cards for grade review, it's always nice to be present in the stream because you can kind of clarify some of those issues that might come up. And as for the back, we definitely got a lot to talk about. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. So first, I'm pretty much just going to highlight every bit of whitening that I can see from this picture. So we have a lot. For whatever reason, I like to go counterclockwise. I really don't know why. There's no rhyme or reason to it. So we got that one. We have some here. Have some there. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, the ones on the top are very aggressive. So what I'm highlighting on stream right now is basically all of those little green dots that I kind of scattered all around the outside of the card. Those are just bits of whitening that just were removed from the card itself, just due to wear and tear, damage, stuff like that, which obviously is going to have a pretty big impact on the grade. Not as much as a crease like what we saw for the Shining Zard, but it will have an impact on the overall edge subgrade. So now that I have shown the front of the Korokoro Mew and the back of the Korokoro Mew, now it's time for chat to weigh in on what you guys think that this Korokoro Mew would get as a PSA grade. So again, as a reminder, if you wish to vote on what you think this Korokoro Mew would get as a PSA grade, simply type in !vote followed by the number, and it will be added to the running poll that is present both on YouTube and on TikTok, depending on where you're watching me from. And once the poll is done, it'll add all of the votes together, and then the winning vote will be the chat grade. So again, if you want to vote on what you think this card would get as a PSA grade, type in !vote followed by the number you think the card would get. So again, !vote followed by the number if you want your vote counted into the average. So while you guys are voting, I'm going to catch up with Float and Andrew. So let's see, Float, let me read what you had to say here. So would you help me decide if a BGS 8.5 is worth crossing to a PSA 9? It has two sub differences, $1,000 between an 8 and a 9. I would say like the short answer, like if you're looking for like investment advice, I can't really weigh in on that, but you know, 8.5s, especially with like two 9 subgrades, I feel like it would have a pretty good shot at a 9. Like obviously not guaranteed, but I would say it has a pretty good shot to be closer to the 9 than the 8 if that were the case. Are there more lenient for older cards? And will you do a grade review for Magic? So I'll answer those in 2 parts. So they're more lenient for older cards. Just based off of how grading is done, it's pretty much not like TCG specific, if that makes sense. So like, you know, an older Pokemon card is not going to be treated any differently than a modern one, if that makes sense. Because at the end of the day, the 4 main grading criteria applies for any card. Having said that, though, with your next question, since I traditionally have more capacity and more viewership when it comes to Pokemon, as of now, until I have more time to do this for more TCGs, I'm just sticking with Pokemon at the moment. All right, so let's see. So I'm just wrapping up the poll now. So we got... So it looks like between YouTube and TikTok, we have a chat grade. Chat grade of 7. All right, so what do I think this Korokoro Mew would get? So again, the only thing that I see on the front of this is a tad off center from the left to the right, but I still think it's within the 55-45 range. And a little bit of issue on that bottom left-hand corner, as well as some in this bottom right-hand corner. And as we look on the back, all these little bits of green that I've highlighted for the whitening is pretty apparent across the card. So in this case, and it honestly would kind of help if you guys have ever tried to kind of differentiate between, you know, certain grades. So normally in this case, I would ask myself, do I think this card is in near mint condition? Because with PSA, a PSA 7 is considered near mint. So the question becomes, if I remove these etches, do I think this card is in near mint condition by the back alone? And I would argue that it is not near mint because of the amount of whitening on the back. Having said that, the front of the card, from the 2 pictures that we have for the hollow area, looks to be in pretty good shape. I was kind of struggling with finding anything that really stood out to me, both in this picture and this picture. So I think because of the hollow being in such good condition, based off what we can see, I have to put that asterisk in there, based off what we can see, I want to say that this card would probably be more in the neighborhood of a PSA 6 versus a PSA 7, in my opinion. Just because of the holo kind of saving it and the back being in such rough shape. I think this is more of like a light play. So normally when I think this card is in more of a light play category, I tend for it to be more of like PSA 6-ish. It's not always the case, but in this case, that's kind of where I'm leaning more towards. If I do grade review now, when do you think you would review? So as of tonight, before I closed the queue for tonight, there was no one in there. So if you guys really want your cards reviewed as soon as next week, tonight is the night to submit them for sure. Because there was really no one else that submitted cards. So if you really want your cards submitted by next week, which is honestly more kind of even reserved for people who pay for the subscription, that's just like an additional benefit. Tonight is the night to submit your cards. And you can submit as many as you want, but it is first come, first serve, and you only have up to 5 cards reviewed per week per stream. So for example, if you submit 20 cards, which you totally can, it will take roughly quote unquote a month, because I would only review 5 per stream, and you do 5 times 4 because I stream every Wednesday, would result in all 20 of your cards being reviewed, if that makes sense. So thank you for that, Koro. And again, I appreciate you guys liking the live over on TikTok. It definitely helps me kind of boost some of this exposure to kind of help more people like yourselves and just kind of look at more cool cards and different variants and different conditions to kind of help us get even better at grading. Because this, I will definitely admit, this has definitely made me a lot better at looking at a wider range of issues with cards. So I definitely appreciate it, because we're currently looking at 5.5K likes. If we can hit 6K, that'd be awesome. So I definitely appreciate all the love and support regardless, guys. How much was the scope? Actually, Jinx, what I can show you is because I have finally, on popular demand, I have finally made a shop link in my link tree. So everything that I use for cleaning is all right here. And so this is the scope that I use, the Tomlov microscope, in addition to all this other stuff that I use for cleaning. It's all right here for you to review. So that is the best spot to look. So how you find this link tree, if you just go into my bio and in the link, there should be the link tree, and you just shift over to shop, and everything you need to know is right in the cleaning essentials section. I made it super easy for you guys, because I kept feeling bad. People were asking me like, oh, what are you using? What Q-tips you use? What scope do you use? Hey, we hit 6K. Thank you so much, guys. You guys are the best. All right, so next up, if Civic, if you're here, I know you popped in for a second, so hopefully you're still here. We're gonna look at your submission, which we had the Pikachu, Snorlax, and the Leafeon. So let's take a look at the Pikachu. I feel like you've had another one of these, haven't you? I feel like I've looked at this Delta species. I mean, probably not yours, but I love it. I love the contrast. But anyway, centering looks good. Corners look good. And the foil, man, looks really good. Let's see. The foiling looks really good. I tried to buy the other one. Oh, gotcha. Okay. Yeah, this foil looks really good. At least from this angle. I know you said some other ones, so let's take a look. But so far, there's nothing for me to mark on this. And man, look at that, chat. Let me make sure that you guys can see what I'm seeing. But yeah, this card is in really good shape. Yeah, it is extremely clean, man. It is extremely clean. Like, even just like looking at like where you kind of overexposed it, I would assume that there would be at least something. And I mean, man, I am struggling. Well, it doesn't help that this is all grass in the background, so it's kind of tougher for me to like really differentiate between what scratches or not. But man, this is I'd say if I really had to nitpick, maybe those might be, but those are so faint that's even kind of a stretch. But yeah, that front is in such good shape. Let's take another look. So maybe right here, but again, I didn't. You might even have to tell me if this is, but like right here and right here possibly, and some right here on that top corner, but man, these are so faint. It's like I'm really trying. I am really trying. But man, those are in such good shape. Let's look at the back. And the back is equally as good. Like we see, I would imagine that this would be like a brand new right out of the pack, to be honest. Centering looks really good. Corners look good. I mean, there's only, I'm not kidding, there's probably only like one speck that I see on that bottom, and then maybe two in the bottom right and one in the top right. Like, man, this is crazy. Oh, these are box toppers? Jeez. Hey, I've been watching you for a while and finally sent my first grades in. That's awesome, Cody. Yeah, first grades into like getting submitted through PSA or going through the grade review. Either way, that's awesome. But yeah, this Civic, I think that this card is in extremely good condition, to be honest. In super good condition. So yeah, chat, what do you guys think this Pikachu would get? I'm gonna open it up here real quick. So yeah, if you guys want to vote on what this Pikachu is, again, exclamation point vote followed by the number. This Pikachu is extremely clean. Is extremely clean. Really, the only things I noted with the green are those little white dots, the bottom center, two in the bottom right, one in the top right, and some scratches barely on the hollow. But again, exclamation point vote followed by the number if you want your vote to be weighed in. So let me catch up here. How do you prefer the pics of the cards to be taken? So, Cheese, if you're in the Discord right now, if you're in the grade review channel, if you tap where it has the pinned messages, it literally looks like a thumbtack. I made pinned messages of all the kind of guides that you need to properly take a picture of the card. Basically, like the biggest rule of thumb that I can't stress enough is the card needs to be outside of the sleeve and top loader. That's like the first rule that will make or break the submission, because if there's a scratch on your card in a top loader, I don't know if it's the scratch on the sleeve, if it's a scratch on the top loader. I have no idea. So, but yeah, I have a bunch of pictures in there that you can look through. What do you normally use to clean cards? No, I don't use isopropyl alcohol. I feel like I need to do a video at this point to kind of show like what happens in certain cases when you use isopropyl alcohol, because it does have the possibility of actually damaging the card, because it does have that kind of abrasiveness to it because it is alcohol. But from what I personally use, I just use distilled water. I've never had a problem. Again, I've been cleaning cards for quite some time, and all I use is just distilled water to get like dirt and grime off. It's been enough. I've gotten, yeah, that's literally all I use, Cody. It's really nothing crazy. When I have a cleaning stream next, I think you're following already, but I have a cleaning stream that kind of highlights all of that, and I'm going to be having a cleaning service soon if that interests you, if you're not willing to kind of do it yourself. But yeah, for the most part, it's just water and a Q-tip. That's really what it boils down to. All right, so chat, you guys are thinking, let's see. So chat is thinking 9. So what do I think this Pikachu Delta species would get? From this angle, the card looks flawless. This angle, the card looks flawless. This angle, I see very little scratches on that front part. It's kind of hard to tell with the blades of grass in the background, but that's all I could really see. On the back, again, completely flawless with the exception of 1, 2, 3, 4 like very, very, very small whitened spots. So I think because of how well centered the card is, both on the front and the back, with how minimal these are on the back, I probably would agree that this would probably get a 9. So this card, man, I would submit it just because, like what you said, how hard these cards are to get graded. Only that bottom left scratch is there. Gotcha. Back. Okay, let me catch up with what you said, Civic. 1 second. I'll say, looking at the back, the big white dots aren't there, so I don't know. They're tiny if they're there. Gotcha. It could be just like how the lighting of the picture. I've seen that on more than enough cards, so that definitely makes sense. So I think even with that comment, definitely makes it even more so that it would be a 9 for sure. That's awesome, man. Well, I really wish you the best of luck for sure. I'd make a killing at cons. I mean, I definitely go to conventions. But I just like selling cards and kind of talking with people. I think if I had another person go with me, I'd kind of do like a quick like assessment, like a live assessment would kind of be cool. Maybe I might just do those like every now and again, because I do vendor POVs, not as much as like everyone else, because I kind of still have a full-time job, but with the conventions I have coming up in 2024 and attending way more in 2025, that's a good idea. Maybe I just might do that if someone's just asking for an opinion on a card or whatever. I might just do it live. Who knows? Go to Kansas City Collecticon. Who knows, man? I really do want to go to one. And who knows? I've never been to Kansas City, so I don't see it being too far out of the realm of possibility. Who knows? Yeah, the other thing too, Jinx, is like some of the bigger cons already have like Beckett grading or PSA grading like already there at the convention. So I don't know if that would be kind of like a no-no. Yeah, I mean, that'd be pretty cool. I definitely want to go to a Collecticon. That's kind of my goal for 2025. Is just to, excuse me, is just to go to one. Oh, we just hit 7K likes. Thank you so much, guys. I just saw that. Thank you. All right, next up is the Snorlax, one of the cooler reverse rares. I really like when they did the gold lettering. It's always so cool to me. So let's take a look. So to me, this card looks pretty well centered. I will not lie. Corners look good. I do see some very faint scratches here on that left border, but I mean like extremely faint. It did take him 17 years to get up, Cam. You are correct. Yeah, that's true too, Jinx. Just because like, but it also depends too on like why you're getting cards graded. If it's just for sentimental value, is it for monetary value, or like how much did you buy it for? How much, how much is it gonna be if you get it at a particular grade or whatever? There's a lot of factors that go. It's such a hard question to answer, like in a vacuum, without like really digging deep. Because if someone had like a first edition Shadowless Charizard and it looked like it went through the washer 15 times, but they bought it at that price, and it's like, it probably wouldn't be worth it. But if they had it since they're a kid, technically they got it for free, quote unquote. So the only thing I just did there, I was kind of talking while I was doing it, is all the green marks I just saw as scratches. So, excuse me. I just marked those. So let me look in the back. And on the back, let's see. So you guys can still see that, which is good. I'm actually going to zoom in a little bit more so you guys can see exactly what I'm about to do here. So we have one little dot in the top left, and a little bit of whitening on that bottom right corner, and a little dot on that top left, top right corner. And it looks like there are almost like it came kind of like in and out of a sleeve or something. We have like very mild scratches on the back, Going right there by the P. But really not that bad. His card's in pretty good shape. And I have to just do that so it still matches. Yes, perfect. I have to zoom in on that one, but... Are you still accepting cards for your beta cleaning service? Yes, I will be. I'll be announcing, I just finished, that was what I had to postpone stream yesterday, was because I was finishing up kind of the contracts for the cleaning service. So I spent pretty much all day doing that yesterday. So yeah, hopefully soon in the Discord I'll make that announcement to take applications for the beta program or the early access program. So definitely keep an eye out for sure. Okay. So this Snorlax, what are you guys thinking? I just opened up for chat, for the chat poll. What do you guys thinking this Snorlax would get from Delta Species as a PSA grade? Again, if you wanna vote, do exclamation point vote followed by the number for it to be added to the poll. You can kind of see it kind of scrolling below the Snorlax right now. It says to vote, exclamation point vote followed by the number. And that's how it's added. Dr. Squatches, thanks so much for the follow. Appreciate that very much. Back is always the easiest. I know, Jinx. It's such a shame. Like the back just like will make or break these cards like crazy. But yeah, I'm super stoked. But it really just the biggest thing for the cleaning service is just trying to get like the legal stuff out of the way. And the biggest one is I know for a fact, let's see. I think that's just, I saw that same thing, Jinx. You're talking about this, like all right here, like this kind of like shimmery spot. I think that's just lighting. I think it's just like a camera effect or camera lighting effect. I don't think it's actually part of the car. It's not like it's fraying or whatever, if that's what you're referencing. But I saw that too, so that's why I thought that you were talking about it. RQ, how's it going? Nice to see you. It's been a minute. What is it? It's like 6 o'clock in the morning for you over there? But yeah, I think the biggest thing for the cleaning service that I really have to have my contracts explicitly say, because I know there's going to be people that think that, hey, I can give you a card that I rolled around in the mud and you can clean it to make it a PSA 10, right? It's like, no, I can't. And then if I clean it and whatever, and I try to improve it the best I can, they're going to try to dispute it and say, well, you didn't get it a 10. I thought you were supposed to clean these services or clean these cards. I thought that was your service. And so like trying to set those realistic expectations is because I know like most people aren't going to think like that. But I know I have to deal with the minority because it's going to be too much of a blow if someone tries to like, you know, fight back or request a refund or whatever because they didn't get the grade that they were hoping because my cleaning can only do so much. So that's really what that's the biggest hurdle in this whole cleaning service thing. So that's why I'm going to be doing the beta test to kind of slowly roll it out so that I get people to kind of get a sense of how it all works. Sorry, Doctor. If you do exclamation point vote followed by the number that you think the card would get, that's how you get added. I just saw you trying to vote. I just wanted to let you know that. So if you thought it's going to be a 7, you just do exclamation point vote 7 or something like that, or whatever number you think. I need my Glaceon alt art cleaned. Yeah, right. I just pulled it from a pack. I need it cleaned. It's like, but it's wildly off center. But that's what cleaning is, right? You just make it a 10. No. All right. So let's see. So we have from chat, the winning vote is an 8. So let me just write that down real quick. So chat is thinking 8. Yeah, I need my card recentered. Yeah, let me just get my like X-Acto knife and just trim the edge off. Like, what are you on about? Anyway, enough about getting pissed off at ghosts, because this hasn't even happened yet. So let's continue. Snorlax, Delta species. What do I think it's going to get? Mild scratching on the front, is well centered, corners are good. We do see some scratches here on the surface. This is, don't mind all this, it's just an explanation. But again, very, very mild scratching on the border. And as for the back, very little whitening. I think I only saw maybe 3 points. I think we had like 1, 2, 3 points of whitening on the back, in addition to some mild scratching here. So yeah, I'm honestly thinking, unless there's something else that I can't see, I probably also would agree that this is probably, you know, I'd probably say a soft 8 more than anything. If this got to 7, because if there's something I'm not seeing, because I'm kind of more led to believe, because like with these scratches on the back, they might be possibly worse in person versus based off of what the pictures are saying. So if that is the case, it would probably be a 7. But if I had to pick one or the other, based off of what I'm seeing, I think like a soft kind of 8 is a pretty big guess. Is a pretty good guess, rather. Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, I've seen that too, Jinx. But it's weird because like the leniency that they say that they have on their website is nowhere near from what I personally have seen from Pokemon specifically. To where I kind of like to have the rule of thumb for Pokemon is like the leniency is more of like 55-45. Because the front's like 60-40 on the website, but I really don't think it's 60-40. I think it's more of like 55-45 than anything. Yeah, for sure. The back is a little bit more lenient for sure. That still carries over, but I don't, because I think the back, they say it's 70-30. It's like 70-30 is almost like wildly off center. How much do you think that PSA 8 Snorlax would be? I have no idea. I'd have to look it up, doctor. All right, next up is going to be the Leafeon from Undaunted, from Heart Gold and Soul Silver. And again, that's what's always kind of cool. Like, I really hope that these cards do get graded, because it's always nice to kind of check back in on how accurate we were. I always say that kind of selfishly. All right, so I think there's multiple. I think this is probably going to be based off of, yeah, based off what I'm seeing, is probably going to be the closest I can get here. I'll just do here because the bottom edge is pretty clean. So I'm just going to kind of, for stream's sake, I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. All right, so the Leafeon. So before I continue, I believe they base off what sides are off. Yeah, I think it kind of goes from there too. But bummer sides, yeah. All right, I think I'm caught up. And for those of you who are new, thank you for hanging out with me tonight. Definitely appreciate it. And thank you guys for the likes. We're at 7.3K. If we could get to 8K, that'd be sweet. Keep saying that, but it's kind of cool to be able to keep meeting new people, especially through TikTok side of things. Like, the more likes, the more the community can grow, and the more opportunities we can kind of do some more stuff. So I hate to be like the spammer of like spam the likes, but it does definitely help out a lot. So I definitely appreciate it. Oh, exactly. I love it, Civic. I think my favorite one that you've shown as of late was that Celebi EX. That card was so nice looking. That was such a nice Celebi. All right. It's past my bedtime, but I'm pushing through, chat. I'm pushing through. All right, so let's look at this Leafeon. So I'd say this left side's a little bit thicker than the right side. But again, I still think it's kind of within that 55-45. But the rest of the card, including the bottom, which you can't see because I just need to make it a little bit more zoomed in, is pretty good shape. So the only thing I see from this angle and is maybe, I don't really know what this is by the ear. It almost looks like a little mole. You might be able to kind of help us out here, Civic, if you can kind of see what that little dot is by the ear. But I'm not too sure what it is, if it can be removed or if it's dirt or what. But other than that, from this picture, I don't really see anything. And then oh, you're all good, Civic. No worries. Well, if you are, definitely let us know. So I see a scratch here by that hind leg. And maybe one, like a few more near it. But aside from that, that's really kind of all I see. And then on the back, we kind of still have some very mild whitening on that corner, have some mild kind of scratches on the back. Have a mild white spot there. So let's see. So we have some more mild scratches here. And just to, you guys will have to forgive me because I'm starting to fade here. So I'm just gonna do the voting on these last few on my own. But let's see. So I'm thinking that the centering is a little off center from the left to the right, but not by much. There is a little bit of a dot here, but I'm thinking if I were to guess, I think that probably can be removed. So I'm not going to even really pay attention to that. There is some mild scratching on that back hind leg. And then on the back, I think in addition to some of the whitening that we see on the top left and the top right corner, as well as some mild whitening on the left and the right and the bottom right, there is a little bit more notable scratching on the back surface of the card. So I think because of the scratching on the back and more so on the front, that's a little bit more predominant than the Snorlax, I would probably say, in my opinion, that this would probably get, drum roll please, would probably, excuse me, probably get the 7, in my opinion. Dust. Oh yeah, it could be dust. Let's see. Yeah, right here where the tip of my mouse would be. What's the best way to clean removable grime off my cards? That's a great question, Rorsch. So if you go to my, so in my description, or in my bio rather, there is a link to go to the link tree. So the nice thing is I just enabled this. So there's this video called card cleaning right here. So if you just watch that, or you can just look in the TikTok videos, it's a little bit further down. That kind of gives a quick explanation on how I clean cards specifically. But to answer your question, if you don't want to watch the video, is I just use distilled water and a Q-tip. But that video, this card cleaning, the Espeon one, will give you a little bit more insight on what I actually do with an example of while I'm cleaning an Espeon. So it kind of does a little best of both worlds for you. All right, so thank you again, Civic, as always, for letting us look at your cool cards. We're at 7.9k likes, guys. 7.9. And we got the 8. Thank you so much. Look at me. And then for those of you who are new here, if you do want your cards to be submitted for a future grade review, again, if you just click the link in the bio of the TikTok profile, you'll get to this link tree. And all you have to do is just click on this Discord icon. It'll send you an invite to the server. There's a grade review channel. Just submit your cards there. It's completely free service. It is first come, first serve. And every Wednesday, I'll review these cards for free. So it's a cool way to kind of look at some cool cards and just get a second opinion on what they'd get. All right, so let's see. So next up, we have Slin. And based off what I saw, it looked like you had this one was the best, and then this one was the best. So the Giratina V-Star. Pretty popular modern card. And so, again, for modern, we're really looking at two things. We're looking at the centering and the corners is primarily the main two contenders that we like to look for when considering if a modern card is going to get a PSA 10 or not. So the centering of this card looks pretty good. So the left, right, top, bottom look good. So let's flip it over. And the centering looks really good on this as well. The only thing that I see, but I think they're just hairs, is this in the top left-hand corner. Those just look like little hairs that can probably just be removed. So if they can, you're excited when you got this card. I bet you were excited. I bet if you can remove these hairs, this probably would have a pretty good chance, because I don't see any whitening on either of the corners. So you should be good here, in my opinion. So thank you for that submission. Let me just make sure I marked yours down and mark that down. Let's see. That one I'm still waiting for. And I'll do a few more here because, again, I am pretty tired, so I'm trying to finish out strong here. And this will probably, because the other few, again, this is why it's important to read the rules, because there's a few that are in top loader, so unfortunately I can't look at those. So I'll probably just have this one be the last one for the night. So base set Charizard. So this one's a good one to end on. Hey Gryo, how's it going? Hopefully all is good. Haven't seen you around in a while. Hopefully all is good. All right, so let's dial in, chat. So centering, it almost looks like it's a little bit thicker on the top than on the bottom. Because again, I tend to stick with, I tend to start with centering first. So it looks a little bit thicker on the top than it does on the bottom, but the left and the right look fine. And as we kind of go around, we see what I like to call silvering. And so if you don't know what silvering is, this right side's a really good example. You can kind of see these little like random chips on the right side. So what this is, what silvering is during the printing process, Wizards of the Coast were printing sheets so fast that their blades were starting to get so dull that it would actually chip off that top layer of that yellow coat, which would reveal the hollow underneath, so which would result in silvered edges, because again, the blades were too dull to make a clean cut. You can also see the bottom happening there as well. So that's why when you see those, that's what they look like. But besides that, the hollow of it actually looks pretty good, but then I say that I don't know. That looks to be based off that tip of that tail, or I'm sorry, not the tip of that tail. No, that might be just part of the artwork. Is it? Let's see. I think so. Did you do mine? I think I did yours a while ago, Gryo. I can't remember the last ones you've submitted, to be honest. So yeah, let me mark. So we just got like silvering all right here. And then we got silvering here. How do I enter one? Yes, produced. I think your Giratina, as long as those were just hairs in the top left-hand corner of the back, I think it has a good shot at a 10. So yeah, so if you want to enter, all you have to do is open up my profile on TikTok or YouTube or whatever, and in the bio you should see a Linktree link. It should then send you here where you're seeing on screen. All you have to do is tap the Discord icon and it will send you a link to the Discord. And next you just find the grade review channel and look at the pinned messages to follow the rules on how to properly submit your cards. And once entered and in the queue, it will be reviewed on stream once every Wednesday. So this is the 31st episode. So I've been doing this 31 streams each on a Wednesday. So 31 weeks straight every Wednesday. So that's how you do it. And again, it's a completely free service, so you don't have to pay for it. Okay, so besides that, besides like kind of like the silvering on the edges, just very mild scratches, from what I can kind of tell. Not too bad. So I mean, it just kind of looks like just a standard base set, which is kind of nice. And as for the back, I am seeing some. That's probably going to clear. I am seeing some issues here, so I'm just going to highlight them and kind of talk about them as I go. So again, we have almost like a fold here too, which actually I'm going to do. It's just so that we can see it. We have almost like a folded section there. I have a little bit of whitening in that bottom corner, some there, and almost like this kind of looks like it's removed. This little white speck in the middle here. And we have some whitening there. But besides those, it looks pretty good. But yeah, I'm kind of worried about. So that would be on this right side. So that's kind of. No, that'd be kind of more in the middle. You can't really see it, but it'd be kind of like in here somewhere when it translates to the back. So right there would kind of translate over to here. Interesting. Couple dents on the edges at top left. Top left and mid bottom. Maybe right here? Is that what you're talking about? And then top left. The top left one I don't really see. This one I think I see from what you're talking about on the bottom. But anyway. So yeah, what do you guys think this Charizard would get? What does chat think the base set Zard would get? Again, if you guys want to vote, !vote followed by the number you think this Zard would get as a PSA grade. Again, !vote followed by the number. It was the guy from the Pokemon White. Oh yeah, I did that weeks ago, my man. I did that weeks ago. I forgot. What I've been doing is I've been having, if you just look up your name, because I at everyone that because I've been doing it a little bit differently. You can kind of see if you look in the grade review section of this week, I've been doing a queue system now. And if your name was tagged, then you can kind of look, if it was like episode 28, you can go back to the VOD on YouTube and watch it. I just don't know what I gave it on the top of my head. But I appreciate you guys hanging out with me for so long. Definitely getting late into the night, so I appreciate it. For the final card of the night. The Charizard. So again, if you guys want to vote, either on YouTube or TikTok, wherever you're watching me from, !vote followed by the number. It'll add to the current poll. Exclamation point vote followed by the number. On the back left. The back left of the P looked like 2 small indents to me. By the P. I mean, it's either this you're talking about, maybe? But besides that, on the back left, yeah. So maybe that? Gotcha, okay. That's why I like I love having this pen tool, man. It makes it so easy to, like, determine where you're talking about on stream. Alright, so... Chat is thinking... Oh, nice, Cryo. Telling you, you guys have way better luck than me. That's why I don't, that's why I don't open anything. You guys take all the luck. So, chat is thinking 6. So, what do I think this Zard would get? So, we have some silvering going on, a little bit off center from the top to the bottom. Very mild scratching on the hollow, which is really, really impressive, actually. But as we flip it over, we do see some dents. We do possibly see a creased edge here, but I'm not too sure. It does look like it from this picture. And we do possibly have some denting here, but very mild whitening around the corners. But we also have maybe some like removed piece of the Pokeball here that I'm not too sure about. So I think because of the crease and the potential bends, like what Jinx was saying here at like number 1 position and then the number 2 position, as well as this like dot removed, I would probably say I don't think it's heavy play. I'd probably say a 5 would be my guess. So chat thinks 6 and I think 5. Bottom left, back chip. Yeah. I spent $150 and got nothing. I have nothing. Oh man. Too funny. Whew. All right, guys. Well, I am pooped. I am absolutely pooped. So again, thank you guys so much. We almost hit 9K likes. That's crazy. That's so cool. Yeah, I appreciate all the love, guys. I really do. Gonna try and send my cards now. What time is it from you? I'm an old man. It's 10:49, but I wake up at like 6 normally. So, and I need, like, I'm such a baby when it comes to sleep. Like, if I don't get like 7.5 to 8 hours of sleep, I'm like so cranky. And my brain is just fried. I don't know why. I've just come to terms with it at this point. But, and then, so what I'll do is as I'll wrap up, you guys can see, if you guys are over on TikTok, I'll pull up the other, because I'm kind of just chatting now. Let's see, and you guys kind of see my my room here. So this is what my room looks like. This is what I look like, if you guys have never seen me before. And that's some of my card stuff back there. Some of my collectible stuff. Where's my mouse? I can't find my mouse. Oh, because I'm using my pen still. Would be cool to see you look at an already graded card and see if you can find something. I tried that, Jinx. It just got a bit hard because there would be instances where people actually submitted cards in the Discord for me to review, and then when I say, hey, like, is that a scratch, some of them kept saying no, it's on the case, or no, that's whatever, and it just ended up being very similar to the problem I ran into with cards in a top loader. So it was kind of like on paper it sounds like a really good idea, but the cases themselves need to be in like really good shape. But oh, for my own, yeah, so I'll do that, Jinx. I do that quite often, actually. So like I'll do like, so what I'll do is I'll actually, like when I'm going through like a cleaning stream, if I think a card is worth grading, I'll do like a live assessment before I grade it, and then when it comes back, I compare what it comes back as. Like I had a submission, not this last submission, but the submission prior. I did that same thing where I had like Dragonite V. I had a bunch of like stuff from Evolving Skies come back. But there's actually one I have here, which is pretty funny. It's the infamous Erica's Ivysaur that I've tried grading twice, and it came back as a 3 each time. And this one, I swear, I really couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you what was wrong with this card. I think it's not. It must be something on the surface, but this card I've cracked and had come back as a 3 both times. So that's my meme card, I guess. Rachel, thanks so much for following. Thank you so much. Any Beckett's? No. I strictly just grade with PSA. There's no rhyme or reason for it. I just started with them and kind of just kept going. How do you get to the Discord again? So you get to the Discord. Let me just get the... So if you go to my bio of my TikTok, because that's where you're asking me from. So in the bio of my TikTok, there's a Linktree link. And when you're here, you just simply click on the Discord icon. It'll send you over to the Discord server. You will then, once you're verified, you go into the grade review channel. And then when you're in there, you post your pictures outside of a sleeve, outside of a top loader, front and back. And you can submit as many as you want, completely free, but it is up to 5 per person per stream. So if you submit 20, in theory, it'd take about a month to go through all 20, if that makes sense. So that's how you do it. NU, thanks so much for the follow. I appreciate that very much. So yeah. Well, guys, that wraps up the saved stream. I tried streaming earlier, and we are at 9K likes. Look at that. That's sick. What was I gonna say? The stream I tried doing was horrendous. The recovery stream was much better. Mushy Muffins, thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate it. Just sent in some pics, hopefully some good assessments. I'm grateful that you submitted them, and I'm super excited to take a look at them. But yeah. Ghosted, thanks so much for liking the live. Appreciate you. So the second stream, the recovery stream, was by far an improvement. Much better. I was glad that I was able to kind of give the people who were supposed to be today a second chance at actually having a good quality stream. And it sounds like you guys are super enthused about having your cards assessed for grade review. Again, I love doing these. It's so much fun. It's fun engaging with the community, just kind of talking about some cool cards. So I definitely appreciate all the love and support through likes and shares and follows and all that stuff. All of that ultimately tells me that you like this style of content. And I just try to give you something a little bit different than just selling you cards like a lot of other people do. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying there's just enough of them around that I am grateful to be able to provide you guys with something that's different that you enjoy. So thank you so much for it. So again, thank you guys so much. If you guys want to see the full stream as a VOD, I do have this upload to YouTube as soon as the stream is done. So my YouTube channel is the same as my TikTok name, Galaxy Gaming TCG. All my other links can be found in my link tree. So the link to that is in the bio. Again, it will look like this. And anything that I use myself for cleaning specifically is in my shop here. So you just click that. I worked pretty hard today to try to get this a little bit more optimized so I can just send you my link tree versus trying to guide you through my website and get you there. So hopefully that helps a little bit. So yeah, I appreciate all the love and support, guys. Thank you so much. And I will catch you guys